Well, speaking of the Brooks Bombers, let's move on to the Brooks Bombers. They, like you mentioned, tied with Fort McMurray in the standings last year, but they did have the tiebreaker, so they were able to make the playoffs from there. But Joe, what can we look forward to generally from the Brooks Bombers this summer?
Well, first off, brand new head coach Dylan DeBrouwer takes over the helm with the Brooks Bombers, and looking forward to seeing what he can bring to that table and improve upon what they've been kind of building in Brooks the last couple of years. Everybody knows it's that short porch at Elks Field that makes it a home run hitter's haven. And so, what kind? It's always interesting because with Brooks is they have a high turnover this year. There's not a ton of old faces coming back, but looking at some of the stats from some of the guys that they're bringing up from the US or some of the Canadian talent that they're bringing in, they've got some power there. And so the question becomes, who's going to become the next Eric, become the next Jacob Gillis, who's going to become the next Xander Bretza, as an example. I mean, those three guys really on fire the last couple of years, especially with Radicek being drafted by the Miami Marlins last year. There's always intrigue around Brooks and what they can bring to the table, and I'm excited for what what Dylan DeBrouwer and company can get, what they've been able to bring into the roster, and what they can bring in as far as the mentality and really enveloping what that Brooks community is all about.
Yeah, I remember seeing some graphics of last year's. Was there not a game last summer that was like 25-21 or something like that? Because it was a windy day and every single fly ball went out of the park or something.
31-26 Lethbridge.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It was a while. I remember seeing that, and I remember seeing, I think it's Swift Currents Field. Somebody overlaid Swift Currents Field onto Brooks Field, and it's like it's not even the same sport. But Ian, who can we look really forward to see in the Brooks Bombers uniforms this summer?
One note about that overlay. So that is a little bit deceiving. They have moved out their fences a little bit since then. So I know that the people in Brooks will bristle at you guys have the smallest, they do have the smallest ballpark, smallest dimensions in the WCBL. You know what? Have you ever been to Yankee Stadium? Have you ever heard of the Crawford boxes in Houston?
Yeah.
That's baseball. Both teams play there. I'll say this about the Bombers. They always seem to, when we're at this phase of the season, there's not guys that jump off the page to me. Then the season happens and boom, they've got these great hitters. And of course they're going to take advantage of their home field and they're going to bat that ball around. They also have to pitch there, which is not any kind of fun. But so guys they're going to miss Anthony Gilbert. They're going to miss Jacob Gillis. Those guys were phenomenal last year. We'll see who the new Gilbert and the new Gillis are this year. I'm quite sure that they'll have some guys on the home run leaderboard again. And even their pitching last year, one thing to note, they faced off against the Sylvan Lake Gulls in the opening round of the postseason last year. The Gulls set a record for wins in the WCBL, regular season wins. And it was a sweep by the Gulls, but the Gulls won 4-0 and they won 4-1 in those two games. And the second game, they needed a late push. I believe there was a controversial balk involved as well to get over the finish line and to get past Brooks. So, you can underestimate them, but they grind. They're there. Like I said, I'm not necessarily predicting too much out of the guys on the roster that I see, but as that season goes along, they'll make themselves known.
Nothing says exciting baseball quite like a controversial balk. You love that.